and welcome to this edition of WeTalk. We're Wei and Bi in Beijing. It is no longer news that the United States violates human rights in other countries.
However, this country still makes irresponsible remarks on the so-called human rights issues of other countries for political purposes at the ongoing 50th session of the United Nations Human Rights Council.
Yeah, and the U.S. has been engaged in grave human rights violations both at home and abroad. And the shocking track record makes it a massive human rights abuser in the world.
Yes, it's the country most rampant with gun violence. Well, here's the data from Gun Violence Archive. It showed that about 45,000 Americans were killed in gun violence incidents in 2021.
And I believe you still remember, not long ago, 19 children and 2 teachers were killed in a massive shooting in Texas.
Of course, it's the deadliest U.S. school shooting in nearly a decade.
Not only the gun violence is lethal, but also their failure in the disease control. The death toll from COVID-19 across the country has surpassed 1 million.
What's more, some 200,000 children have become orphans due to the pandemic.
However, what we have just said are only U.S. domestic problems. It is also causing trouble and hurting innocent people all over the world.
Exactly. Since 2001, the country has waged wars or conducted military operations in about 80 countries. Such a war has left Afghanistan devastated and impoverished, killing 47,000 Afghan civilians and about 69,000 Afghan soldiers and police officers.
And about 10 million people were displaced.
These are really shocking numbers. No wonder many countries denounced the United States as, quote, the biggest destroyer of human rights in the world and urged it to address its own gross human rights problems.
Right. At the ongoing Human Rights Conference, Cuba, on behalf of 69 countries, spoke against U.S. interference in other countries' internal affairs. Take a listen.
We maintain that all parties should abide by the purposes and principles of the Charter of the United Nations, adhere to the principles of universality, impartiality, objectivity, and non-selectivity, and respect the right of the people of each state to choose independently the path for development in accordance with their national conditions.
American founding fathers penned that, quote, all men are created equal. But more than 240 years later, the reality in the U.S. is still in stark violation of its founding spirit. If all men means humanity in the first place.
But if a country really cares about human rights, shouldn't it at least take some concrete steps to root out problems like racism and gun violence so that its people can live with equal dignity and less fear?
And shouldn't it stop using human rights as a political weapon to attack other countries? And that's all for this edition of WeTalk.
Thank you for watching. Bye for now.